Today's video is going to be in collaboration with another YouTuber I met while I was in DIY boot camp 2 months ago at Solano Beach, California. Her name is Veronica, and her YouTube channel is Chasing Sunshine by Veronica. I highly recommend checking Veronica out. She is an awesome all-around girl. We both really had a lot in common, which includes we both come from industrial type jobs where we work with mostly men, yet we enjoy making things beautiful. So it was kind of really cool and refreshing to find somebody that I had so much in common with. While we were at boot camp, we were all given the challenge of upcycling a piece of furniture in just 4 hours. I saw her take an old, crusty, ugly looking desk and turn it into something amazing. She was able to keep it cool while other people were kind of letting the stress get to them. She was honestly a ray of sunshine with her positivity, just going around and spreading joy to everybody. So her name totally suits her. For this challenge, we gave each other a $10 limit to go and thrift 2 items, which we sent across country to each other and had to upcycle into something unique. Stick around to the end of this video and you'll find out how you'll have an opportunity to win these items that were upcycled here. Did you notice my little dog Pandy's curiosity? I think she thought this was her bark box. It's like some kind of dish, guys. Check it out. Wow. That's cool. And oh, this is neat. Stirrups. How cool is that? I already have an idea for these. Well, every once in a while an idea comes instantly and I just happened to catch it on film. These stirrups immediately reminded me of this picture I had seen on Pinterest. It was this shelf made out of old barnwood and leather, and I knew I wanted to try to recreate something similar to that. First things first, I was kind of just removing these old rubber parts that weren't going to be necessary and examining all the pieces to kind of figure out how to get it done. I'm walking around to the side of my yard where I have a pile of old barnwood saved up for projects such as these, because come on, it's like totally normal to have a pile of old barnwood hanging around for projects. After looking up standard lengths of shelves online, I decided to make this one on the longer side, 36 inches long. Just made a marking and cut it out. Even though I did have an idea in my head of what I wanted to create, I really had no idea on how to execute it. So you'll see me putting things up against each other, measuring back and forth, making marks. I'm trying to visualize in my head how everything's going to come together, and that's totally fine. That's how you learn, and that's part of the creative process. Don't ever be afraid to make mistakes, because in the long run, it only makes you better. Here I am just sawing all the way around that board about 1/4 inch to give myself a stopping point before I start chiseling along the edges. If I hadn't done this, once I start chiseling, it would have split further than what I wanted. Because this is old barnwood, the process went really quickly, but you can still do the same thing with newer wood. Once again, I always like to try to dry fit everything together before I move on, just to make sure I'm on the right track. And looking good so far. Now to give everything a really good scrub down before we bring it inside. I know what you're thinking, this is barnwood. It's supposed to look kind of grungy, but it's also been sitting on the side of my house for a while, and I'm not going to bring it inside until I've scrubbed it thoroughly. A good strong mixture of TSP and water is what I use to clean this board. You can just see all that grime coming off of it. Yuck. I also went ahead and scrubbed down the metal parts of the stirrups as well with the TSP mixture. Because I want to try using these leathers, they're going to get a good scrub down with Murphy's Wood Oil Soap. Yes, folks, this product can be used on leather. I read in a blog years ago, and I've been using it for such a long time on vintage Dooney & Bourke purses that I purchased while thrifting. I just throw them in the wash with this soap, and they come out looking brand new, believe it or not. I thought I wanted these boards to be a little bit darker, so I went ahead and staining them with one of my favorite stains, Minwax Special Walnut. However, I ended up changing that, and I also drilled a hole at the very edge. I will explain why. The tone of the wood was just a little too close in color to the leather, so I went ahead and sanded it back and gave it one coat of whitewash. As for that hole, it's the perfect spot for a little pin to hold the stirrup in place securely. I'm just moving these leathers around, trying to figure out where I'm going to place them. Even though they are perfectly clean now, they are just so worn that I'm afraid the integrity isn't there to hold up the weight of a shelf. I wanted to utilize as much of that stirrup as possible, so I decided to just cut off the buckle itself, and being that it's solid brass, I'm going to use this as a hanger for the shelf. A little bit of Barkeeper's Friend and some steel wool had these brass bits nice and sparkly in no time. I dug through my stash of leather belts and was able to find two that were similar in width that will be used for replacements. Here's a tip for you guys: whenever you're out junking or picking and you find real leather belts for cheap, pick them up. They have so many uses. I have used them to make my own drawer pulls for furniture. I have also used them to weave the back of an old chair that was missing, and I know people that use them to make jewelry, so they are a great supply to have. I just cut my pieces with a razor and punched in holes with a little leather tool, so I had a place to attach them to the wood and to each other. Looking at all my strips, I noticed that the tones were quite different from each other, so I decided to go ahead and dye them to make them a little more cohesive. The first step of this process was to clean the leather with acetone, or nail polish remover, ladies, just to remove any kind of residual oil and open up the pores to receive the dye a lot easier. I went ahead with this tan dye and it turned out to be the perfect color. The leather dyeing process seemed to go fairly quickly, and it was well worth the effort. Look how cohesive the color is now. Once everything was completely dry, it was assembled, and here is the final product.
Why don't we say that it's too late for us now? Why do we stay when I blame you for the things that weigh me down? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her. She who wants to study.
I'll be honest, this second project didn't come as easy as the first one. I wanted to show off that wonderful carved detail that was on the face of the dish, and my husband suggested, why don't you make a wall clock out of it? That there gave me an idea of making it hang on the wall in some capacity. After talking with a friend, she said, why don't you do macrame? And you know what? She was right. I went with macrame. The first thing I had to do was drill holes all the way around, so I had some place to attach my macrame cord to. Cleaning up the silver was a breeze. My favorite product of choice is good old toothpaste. It works the best in my opinion. Look at that sparkle. This gold hoop is what I attached the macrame cord and the dish to. I had a few colors of cord to choose from. I really liked the black one, but I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough, so I went with the gray cord. I apologize for not filming me attaching the top of the dish, but it was kind of a bear and I wanted to have it placed on the walls to show the rest. I went ahead and put cords in all the other holes, attached them with a wooden bead. Then I tied a knot and stuffed that knot inside the bead, and that's what secured the cord. I really didn't like the way the top was attached, so off camera again, I redid it and added some beads instead. The rest of the process went fairly quickly. The spaces in between those beads and cords looked a little bit bare, so I added an extra cord in between all of them. And in no time, this project was done. I'm actually pleased with the outcome. It kind of has a little bit of a dream catcher boho vibe, and I love how now you can still use that dish and put anything you want on the inside to display. Okay, if you've reached it this far, here's how the giveaway works. But first of all, I wanted to say thank you to all of you who are watching and subscribed to this channel, because this is the whole reason we're doing the giveaway. Veronica and I both reached a milestone of 1,000 subscribers, and this is our way of saying thank you. So all you gotta do to be entered is subscribe and share to both of our channels. Leave a comment once you're done down below, and good luck. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, happy junking.